Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope you're good wherever you are. Guys, smash the like button on the video. Hit the subscribe button. Guys, I've got a video planned. I'm going to hopefully do one big video about a topic which I'm not going to tell you about, which will probably be uploaded tomorrow. But I wanted to talk about Tim Bradley's comment about Errol Spence. Tim Bradley says that, Errol, stop running. Get your running shoes off. Get your fighting shoes on. And step in the ring with Terence, Bud, Crawford, says Timothy Bradley. You know what? Timothy Bradley. You know what? Timothy Bradley was a good fighter. I just can't forgive him. I can't forgive him for him ducking Amir Khan for that undisputed fight. So whenever Tim Bradley talks about Errol Spence ducking, it really angers me, man. I get really enthralled because he hurt Amir Khan's legacy. Because Amir Khan today could have been an undisputed champion because I think he would have beaten Bradley. So when he says that, you know, Spence is ducking, even though I probably agree with him, and I think that, you know, Spence should fight Terence Crawford, I take it with a pinch of salt. I take it with a pinch of salt because this is a man that ducked Amir Khan. I'm sorry. This is a man that ducked Amir Khan. And you guys know that I'm a massive fan of Khan. And this guy hurt. I felt like this guy didn't give Amir Khan the opportunity of that undisputed fight. He didn't give himself the opportunity because Tim Bradley was a good fighter. Could have beaten Khan. So that, I just think it was a duck. I just think, you know, Bradley saying that about Spence, I think he did the same thing with Khan. And I also, if I'm not mistaken, was he not also, I swear I think he rejected like a final eliminator with Spence or something like that. Something like that. I read an article about it, but I have to, you know, agree with Tim Bradley in the sense that I do think Errol Spence needs to get in the ring with Terence Crawford. I think it's too big a fight. It's too good a fight. I think it needs to happen. I think it will be a damn shame if these two end up like Amir Khan and Kell Brook, where the fight just isn't what it was. You know, and fans are saying it's 5 years too late. It's 7 years too late. You know, and Crawford and Spence could turn out like that. You know, there's some young, hungry... You know what? I actually think in the welterweight division, because there's some young, hungry lions coming through, I actually think that if Errol Spence stays at the 147, I think he might even be forced to fight Crawford because you might end up getting like a Virgil Ortiz and a Jaron Ennis, or a Jaron Ennis that you don't want that guy to be your mandatory because he's a monster. So, for me, I think it just makes so much sense for them two just to fight each other. I don't know why they wouldn't want to fight each other. Because I just think right now that fight makes so much sense. Spence should fight. He should fight Bud Crawford. You know, I get all of the fact that, you know, Bud isn't a massive seller and Terence Crawford, you know, he's not a big paper, but neither is Spence. Spence isn't a huge star himself. Spence, not like he's selling 700,000-800,000 pay-per-views like Canelo. Then I can understand. Like, if Terence Crawford said he wants 50-50 with Canelo, I'd laugh. If Terence Crawford said he wants a 50-50 with a fighter who, you know, is a huge star and is selling crazy pay-per-view numbers, but, you know, Spence is a bigger star, but not that much. He's not that big a star. He's slightly a bigger star. He's not a way bigger star. And I just think that I think the fight is such a big legacy fight for both. I just think it makes so much sense. I just think they should fight each other. I don't know what the issue is here. I genuinely don't. And I really want the fight. I really want Crawford Spence. I think it's one of the biggest fights in boxing. I made a video yesterday about Canelo Beterbiev, and I think it's on the par. I think it's a massive fight. And these two fighting, look, the numbers these two will generate fighting each other, they can't generate those numbers fighting anybody else unless either of them fight Canelo, which neither of them are going to do because they're both too small, right? So neither of them are going to fight Canelo. Neither of them can generate the numbers that they would generate each other with anyone else. Just fight each other. Go 50-50. I don't think... Look, when you look at Terence Crawford's purses, Terence Crawford's earned a lot of money. And listen, I'm not saying that Errol Spence may have earned more than what Terence Crawford's earned, but it won't be much more. Do you really think that Errol Spence is earning, like, I don't want to talk about a man's pocket because I don't know, but do you really think Errol Spence has been earning more than like 5, 6, 7, like, even if he is, it couldn't be that much more. It couldn't be that much more because his paper, like, unless PBC are just paying him crazy money, because I don't think his pay-per-view numbers justify getting paid 20, 30 million. Like, if he was getting paid 20, 25 million dollars and Crawford was getting 5, 6, I would then say, you know what, okay, that's a big shit. That's a big shift. You know, we're talking about a guy that's probably earning 5 times more. But, you know, Spence isn't, at most, and this is, I'm not sure if he even earns this, at most he's earning 2 times more. And I would doubt if Errol Spence is earning more than $10 million every fight. I don't know. It's only speculation. I'm just giving you on what I think his drawing power is. I would be surprised if it's 15 million or 16, something like that. But the money that he'll probably make that kind of money. Maybe he'll make about $20 million. You know, and actually, didn't Eddie Hearn or someone say, I can't remember who it was, that actually say that the reason why Spence Crawford won't happen is because the fight isn't big enough to pay the guys what they want. And there was something like, oh, well, Spence might want 20 million. But if he wants 20 million for that fight, that means he couldn't be earning that much money when he's fighting a Mikey, or he's fighting a Lamont Peterson, or he's fighting a, you know, Danny Garcia or a Shawn. I don't think he could be earning that much money. You know, I don't think Spence is a clear A-side here. It's like, I'll give you an example. Amir Khan and Kell Brook. Amir Khan is a clear A-side, and he was a clear A-side, right, whenever they fought, because he had earned so much more money. The level between these two financially was huge, right? Khan's level of the money, I mean, the money that he had made, the net worth and how much he was made, and the name, it was on another level to Kell Brook. Hence why even when Kell was a world champion, he was willing to take the shorter end of the pie, or the shorter end of the cake, because he knew that Khan was a bigger star, bigger name, had made a lot more money, and Brook wanted that payday. Brook wanted that big fight because he knew that fight, if he beats Amir Khan, would take him to the next level. Financially, from a profile point of view, Brook had everything to gain. Right? So this is what I'm trying to point out. But with this situation, it's not like that, because Crawford is a star in his own right. Crawford, like, when I mean star, he might not be doing as bigger numbers as Spence, but there's not that much difference between these two. It's not like the difference between a Spence and a Crawford is so big. It's not Khan Brook level. It's not that. Khan was on another level financially, and from a what's the word I'm looking for? He was just on another level. You know, he was a much bigger star. He was a global star, like global star in the sense that he was a worldwide name, known in America, known in Pakistan, known in in the UK. Amir Khan's a household name. He's a household name in the UK, not in America, but in the UK, he's a household name. Like, literally, if you can go to any city in England and forget England, UK, everybody knows who Amir Khan is. He's a household name. Spence and Crawford, the gap between them isn't like a Khan or Brook. The financial gap between them isn't like a Khan or Brook. The fame of both fighters isn't like a Khan or Brook. If I'm not mistaken, Terence Crawford might even have more followers on certain platforms than Errol Spence. Spence isn't even that big a name. He might be doing slightly bigger numbers, but he's not even, when I look at their social media, Crawford might even have a few more followers. So the point I'm trying to make is that there's not a massive difference between them two. There isn't a massive difference like people make out. There isn't. Spence is slightly the bigger name, but I don't think he's that big a name where he warrants a massive, much more bigger split. Right? Look, When Khan and Brook were talking about in their prime, 2015, Brook was a champion. Brook was offering Khan 60-40 in the sense that he was willing to accept Khan taking 60% and he taking 40%. The champion was willing to accept a shorter end of the stick because he knew, right? Amir Khan felt it should have been 70-30 and they couldn't come to agreement. At that time, I don't think Amir Khan wanted to fight Kell Brook. I think he wanted a bigger fights. He wanted to fight Mayweather, Pacquiao. Hence why he took the Canelo fight. But Amir Khan had options. Errol Spence and Terence Crawford haven't got options because there's no one they can fight where they can generate more money. Amir Khan fought Canelo Alvarez and he probably generated as much, if not more, money fighting Canelo than he would with Brook. I still think the Brook fight would have been massive and he would have probably made as much as near the Canelo money and possibly even if they had played the cards right, he could have even made more. But the point I'm trying to make here is that none of these two, Spence or Crawford, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, I don't think either of them have the opportunities like someone like Khan had. Hence why he avoided Brook. Crawford and Spence need each other. Do you understand? They need each other from a legacy point of view. They need each other from a numbers point of view because these two fighting each other could generate good numbers. I'm not saying it like... I'm going to say 500,000 pay-per-view buys because I don't think either guy is a household name in America. And I think it does about 500,000, which, by the way, isn't that great. But it's still good when you think about the pay-per-view numbers that we get in America. But they need to fight one another. And that's my take on it. I don't think Spence is that big a star where he can demand a 60-40 split. Now, I might be wrong. Someone might say, no, Imran, Spence is earning 30 million a fight. You're wrong. I don't personally think so, but I might be wrong. I just think that this fight needs to be made, and I don't think Terence Crawford would accept anything but 50-50. Terence Crawford feels that no, there's no way. Terence Crawford wouldn't accept anything less than 50-50. I just can't see it. So the fight will never happen. His ego, Terence Crawford being the proud guy he is and being the champion, he's not going to accept anything less. He's not going to accept anything less. So we're never going to get the fight. And that's just my opinion. It's sad because I don't think we're going to get this fight. Just my humble opinion. I don't think we're going to get it because I just don't think they'll be able to come to terms. I might be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But I just don't think this fight will ever happen because I don't think they'll ever come to terms. Look, the Amir Khan and Kell Brook fight here in the UK was a massive fight that we as Brits thought was never going to happen. Never going to happen. But now the fight's happened is because both guys at the end of their career and they've got nowhere to go. And they know that fighting each other would generate huge money. And I won't be surprised if there is a rematch between them because people always say that, oh, we're not interested, but the fight sold out in 5 minutes. If the fight's a great fight, it'll be even bigger the second time. And if Khan wins or if Brook wins, they'll probably do it again. Unless it's a one-sided drubbing and one of them just looks completely terrible, right? The fight probably happens again. Do you understand where I'm coming from? So boxing is about a business. Yes, right now for Spence and Crawford, they've got a lot of paydays ahead of them. And that is a massive payday. That's a massive payday, which for me, it also defines their legacy, right? It also defines their legacy because the winner of that fight will be hailed the best welterweight of this era, most likely. So I just think it's just a fight that needs to be made. It needs to be made for the good of the sport, for those two legacy. Because if Spence doesn't fight Terence Crawford, he will be the one that would be remembered as the guy that didn't want to fight Crawford. I don't think it would be the other way. People will blame him. Just like a lot of people blamed Amir Khan for the Brook fight not happening. They'll blame Errol Spence. So let's see if that fight comes off. Let's see if it happens. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.